Hey guys, Scott from mywieneryourmouth.com.
Oh, and Seth from My Wiener Spelled the Other Way, yourmouth.com.
And together, the three of us, we are Markwood.
My Wiener Your Mouth
Breakfast Club and mywieneryourmouth.com. Morning, boy.
Morning!
Why do we choose hot days to record?
They're the only ones we got.
Why do I begin every video by discussing how hot and miserable it is in my shop?
Because it's hot and miserable every time we film.
True.
By the way, if you're a first-time viewer, you really should go visit mywieneryourmouth.com.
Yeah.
And you can't spell wiener wrong, because I did.
What do you mean by that?
I before E, except in wiener.
So when you bought the URL...
I may or may not have switched my I's and my E's and my wiener, so then I had to go and buy a separate one with a different wiener.
That can be a problem. Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah.
In the end, we are all the wiener.
All of us.
All right, so let's smoke something. What do we got?
I don't know. What's going to be good for your cold?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I should smoke something nasty.
Yeah.
I should smoke.
Latakia, here we come.
Here we go. All right, so... this is what we're going to smoke then. I picked up this tin of Hearth and Home Daybreak because last year in Nashville, we were given a tin of tobacco that was in a Hearth and Home Daybreak tin.
Uh-huh.
The tobacco was in the tin.
Uh-huh.
And we were told, okay, it's not what the label says. All right.
It's not what's in the box.
I enjoyed it. Whatever it was, I enjoyed it. And so I sent out an APB to figure out what it was that I was enjoying. And I had been told, oh, it's Hearth and Home Daybreak. Okay. Even though I was told that's not what it is, awesome. I ordered it. It's not what it is.
Uh-oh.
So give that a whiff.
Yeah, you are not going to care for that.
No.
Not too strong on the Latakia. It's real musty.
It doesn't say... Oh, here we go. Yeah, it does.
Englishy.
This traditional English mixture of sweet Virginia, fragrant Orientals, and rich smoky Latakia is characteristically similar to long revered light English blend. I'm sorry, 2A.
Paul revered?
An overwhelming favorite of the New York Pipe Club. So
cool.
Now, wait, I don't know if this is or if the blend that this is characteristic. Like.
See, you got to be careful with those words. Words can be tricky.
Yes, they can.
Be real tricky.
Right. So I'm still wanting to break into my Dotif pipe here, but I don't want to smoke this with something that's going to funkify it. So I guess I'm going to go to my...
Always worried about that funkification.
I am. I smoked this, just so you know. I opened this tin up and I smoked one bowl of it, and I thought, "Dang it, this is not it." I could tell.
And you bought such a small tin of it too.
I know. Well, I was looking forward to something.
Way to commit.
Something that I liked. So speaking of that,
get more German beer.
We saw a movie last night.
German tobacco.
I have more.
It's almost.
I have more of the fruit movie German tobacco.
It's almost Wenceslas season too. Getting there. Gosh, this year has gone fast.
Which means then it's almost resolution season. Oh my gosh, tobacco advent.
I know.
I don't think that there's going to be enough tobacco that we haven't tried. We've smoked a lot of tobacco since we've started this.
We have. We've done
between our weekly Markwood's Breakfast Club and two tobacco advents. We've smoked a lot.
Between our weekly and the two tobacco advents, we've shot about 150 episodes. Almost all, 140 actually. Almost all of them with a unique tobacco. We'll compile a list and see if there's anything that we've got missing. We'll do that before the week before tobacco advent starts.
So we'll share that list, and anybody who wants to share some of their favorite tobaccos with us, which is how Tobacco Advent works. We just ask if folks are interested in participating. In exchange, they get nothing, but we'll mention you.
And if we're doing it again this year, a cornament.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you do get something. You get a corn. I forgot all about the cornaments.
And we've got some collectors out there that have 2 ornaments already.
You're right. We have collectors that have multiple ornaments.
Well, that have two.
They shared so much tobacco with.
That's true. That have
2 years.
2 years in a row.
I forgot about that. Gosh, how could I forget about that? Okay, so I take that back. In exchange for sending a tobacco sample to us, we send them a ornament to commemorate their participation.
I just had a really great idea about the ornaments too. Remind me later.
Okay. And
really cool idea.
And so we try your favorite tobacco or one of your favorite tobaccos, and we kind of give a little bit of feedback on it. As you can tell, we don't give reviews of tobacco. We announce whether or not we'd smoke it again. And in most cases, it doesn't matter. We would smoke it again.
You would think that after 140 some tobaccos that we'd have a better grasp on what a tobacco is and how it shouldn't taste and flavor profiles and whatnot. No.
It continues to be like art, where I don't know art, but I know what I like.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we saw Mission Impossible 5 last night. And what'd you think?
No. I don't know why I'm doing that with my hands. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really enjoyable. I thought its tone more closely resembled that of the second movie, or of the last movie. I mean, Mission Impossible 4, which I liked. So, number 1 was serious spy espionage. Number 2 was really, really dark action, but depressing.
Was 2 the one with the dentist office?
I think that may have been... I don't remember.
3.
2 is the one where he spent most of the time on a motorcycle. It was like in Spain or something.
Okay.
It was just really... He had really long hair. It was very odd. It was dark. It just... I don't know. That one didn't appeal to me. Number 3 was dark. Dark, but was really, really good.
Shorter hair.
It had... Number 3 had... That actor who's amazing who died recently. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yep.
He was just an awesome bad guy in that. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that movie from 10 years ago.
Awesome bad guy.
That one was great. And the last one...
by the way, are we going to spoil anything about this movie?
No,
we're going to try not to. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, here's the thing. Ethan Hunt has to go rogue to catch an arms dealer. Okay? So different than all the rest of the Mission Impossible series.
But it, like the 4th movie in the series, it had a bit of a lighter tone. There was some humor in it, lots of action, but lots of really great action. But it wasn't like super depressing. And I think it's really... In my experience, it's hard to have a really depressing movie with Simon Pegg as a co-star.
Okay, who's Simon Pegg?
He is Shaun of the Dead.
He's Shaun.
That's right. He is
Hot Fuzz.
British actor, Hot Fuzz. He's
known for his comedic work more so than serious work, which is
right. He's Scotty in the Star Trek movies, the new Star Trek movies. Great in that. Even when he's being serious, he does it in a funny way. So he's kind of the tech guru in Mission Impossible 4 and in this one. And in both, he just brings, some comedic relief.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah. I thought it was good. However, I was kind of sleep deprived. I woke up early yesterday morning and drove back from Washington, D.C. And, was just kind of fatigued. I told your mom last night when I checked in with her, she's out of town right now, that I kind of drifted in and out a little bit. I wasn't falling asleep, but it's just my brain was wanting to disconnect from some of the action. And I will say the motorcycle scenes, wow, those got my head spinning just a little bit.
Really?
I got that queasy... I could imagine in 3D or in an actual Omnimax type of experience, I would have been chucking.
One of the things that I really, about halfway through the film, really started to appreciate, in thinking back on the last Tom Cruise movie that I saw that I really enjoyed, which was Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, yeah.
Or now they renamed it when it came out on video. It's called Live, Die, Repeat.
What?
Yeah, they rebranded it hoping that it would capture people's attention. That was the tagline on the posters, but they changed the name.
I liked it. I saw that movie and knew nothing about it. Mm-hmm. I had no expectation of what the plot line was going to be.
And don't spoil that. If you haven't seen it, you should see Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, whatever it's called. I think it's on Netflix now. If it's not, get it on Amazon. Buy it. Go to Walmart, Best Buy. It is excellent. If you like sci-fi, it's got elements of... I think it's got a little bit of elements of almost Terminator, kind of with future warfare sort of deal. But
it's not overwhelming on the alien side.
Not overwhelming on the sci-fi.
Right.
It's just a really good story. It's really, really good. But one of the things about halfway through the movie that I started to notice is...
It's near future, alien invasion. We're using our technology, right? So it's not sci-fi like he's got lasers and phasers and things like that. All right, so it's not that.
So if you're not a traditional sci-fi fan, it's not gonna
not Men in Black. It's like Independence Day in that sense, right? In the sense that they're using
the technology
Earth weapons
that the Earth uses. They have these exoskeleton suits, which is just a thing that they're sitting in that gives them extra strength. That's it. I mean, that's pretty much the
advancement in technology.
Right. And the aliens, it's not way out there sci-fi. It's a really good action movie.
Right.
Also has some elements of humor to it.
Mm-hmm. So that was surprising. That it had the same kind of. It touched on the same humorous tones as Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained,
which I still haven't seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where it's a very tense, powerful moment, and then there's humor.
Wise.
There's humor in something that you wouldn't expect to find funny.
Right.
So
yeah.
Anyway, I liked it. That was well done.
But about halfway through Rogue Nation, it struck me just how good Tom Cruise is at just on the acting side of taking a beating and playing that phase of getting up totally disoriented and then realizing, oh crap, I got to keep going.
Yeah.
And kind of that half dizzying,
the seeing stars moment after
right.
Getting bashed in the head.
And it's almost, he acts it almost the exact same every single time. And as I was watching it in Mission Impossible, I realized that it's the same way that he acts it in Edge of Tomorrow. But it's just so good. And even though you do. And even though he doesn't present himself, like, I think of Bruce Willis in Die Hard, where he comes across as more of an everyman, which is one of the reasons why the movie works, because he's not a heroic action hero, and so he struggles, he gets hurt, he does this. Tom Cruise doesn't usually play that as much, but what little he does, it works. It works for him.
Yeah, he's a little more trained.
Right.
So, no, you're right. I enjoyed it.
Let's see it again.
I was just going to say, on my scale of would I see it again or not, I'd see it again. And in fact, I've seen now Edge of Tomorrow 3 times.
Yeah.
I saw it at the theater twice, and then I saw it on board a Delta flight. So, no, and we bought it 4 times. My gosh.
Yeah,
we bought it on demand at home.
So we asked a question last week that we should discuss.
What's your favorite technology that you use? Again, and the reason why I throw it, that seems redundant, favorite technology that you use. There are some technologies that are really cool that you end up leaving in a drawer.
Was that the question? Was the question, what's the favorite technology that you use?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the question.
For some reason, I was thinking it was if you could only use one technology.
No.
Okay.
It maybe that's the way you thought about it in order to...
No, because that's...
come up with your one.
No.
I don't know.
No. What's your answer?
It's my iPad. It's my iPad. I realize that I am somewhat inseparable from my iPad now. If I don't have it, If I didn't plan on not having it, okay, we're going to go to dinner. I'm not taking my iPad along with me. But if I'm traveling someplace and I realize I don't have it, I feel uncomfortable. Part of that is, I would say it would be my iPhone if my eyesight were better. Right?
Eyesight.
My eyesight, yes. I have.
They're coming out with that in a few years.
I'm nearsighted, and so, like most old dudes, I need reading glasses, so I've got bifocals on. The distance, actually, if I take my glasses off right now, I can see better at a distance without my glasses, and that's new. I didn't tell you about that. A couple weeks ago, I started juicing, and then switched or evolved that into juicing and fruits and vegetables. Right. And all of a sudden, about a week into that, I started realizing, dang it, these glasses are getting smudgy. I can't see as well. And then I realized, no, they're perfectly clean. My distance vision has improved because my blood pressure has started to drop.
That'll do that.
Yep, but it doesn't seem to be helping my close-up vision. And so if I could see my phone, like today I pulled up an article that I wanted to refresh my memory on something. I pulled up the article on my phone, and I zoomed in to the point where it was I couldn't even read it because it was so much of it was off the screen.
Right.
I forwarded a link to myself on my iPad and then continued on there. So for me, iPad.
I mentioned a couple weeks ago when we talked about favorite concert that I have a really hard time with these questions because I have a hard time taking these kind of questions at face value and what they're actually asking. And so, first of all, I struggle with favorite because favorite means you're picking one out of many, many categories. And in my brain, technologies are grouped into categories. And then when I think technology, I recognize that's a far-reaching concept. So our cars are a technology
the
that
ice
we
maker
use.
in your freezer.
Yeah, I mean, air conditioning is a technology that I would love to have right this minute. And so it becomes even harder when you're thinking that, lots of times when we're talking about technology, we default to thinking about electronics. A pipe is a technology. A tamper is a technology. And so I have a hard time answering this question. If I had to pick a technology that I use most often, it probably would be the internet. Because I use the internet on my iPad, on my cell phone, on my computer, I
agree with you, but I think that's too broadly defined. I agree with you.
Well, an iPad without the internet is not as useful.
Of course.
So
doesn't mean I wouldn't still find it useful. I mean, I used a what was that called? It was a handspring PDA back 16 years ago, and it didn't connect with nothing. I could sync my contacts and my calendar to it if I physically plugged it into my computer.
Right.
But still, it was useful. But you're right. The
iPad wouldn't be the most useful technology in your life without the internet.
Of course not.
You mentioned I used it to look up an article. Well, you wouldn't be doing that without internet. So again, I'm in trouble because I've thought too broadly.
Yeah, you are. Okay, then I like ones and zeros. I think ones and zeros are some of the best technology we've got.
Well, math is a technology. The fulcrum is a technology. The inclined plane.
No, it's a machine.
Yeah,
those are
which is technology. All right.
Could you imagine?
Nope. I can't imagine.
The first guy to say, hey, come over here, check us out. Look what I have created. And he's made a ramp of some sort. You mean we don't have to lift things into the back of this wagon?
Yeah.
No, you can just roll them on up. Now then somebody was complaining. Somebody complained because somebody got rolled over by a barrel.
No, because the problem is, we could carry it up the ramp. We can carry it up this inclined plane. If only there was a way to move it without having to lift it.
Once we're at the top of this thing.
Could somebody invent something? Might call it a wheel.
A log, I think is what they called it first.
So probably my computer. More often than not, I'm using my computer. I like MacBook Pro. I love my phone, and I get a lot of use out of it. like the iPad, get not as much use out of it. But on my computer, I can do just about anything that I would ever want to do. I like it because it's good for consumption and creation. Yeah. So the iPad's really, really good, and phone is really, really good for consumption.
You're right.
But with the computer, I edit our videos on the computer. I, mess around in Photoshop on the computer. I use that to build websites, and Christmas gifts have been made on there, audio stuff, and also it's one of the best. It's a bigger screen, so it's the best place for watching Netflix, and I can play games on it. And so
I think computer. Because I do so much work on a computer, yet you're correct, I probably use it the most, but the question was, what's your favorite? So to me now, the computer has become tied and connected to work for me. The iPad is much more casual.
Right.
So.
Well, and for me, my MacBook is different than my work computer. I don't use my MacBook at work unless I'm having to do stuff. And so MacBook for me is at home, sitting in the lazy boy, relaxing. So I can see that, or doing schoolwork or whatever else. So I don't tie my personal computer to my work life all that much.
All right, well, that's a good answer. We'd love to know your answer. Either leave it here, or you can leave it on our last video where we actually asked the question.
What about YouTube? Does YouTube count as a favorite technology?
No.
Why not?
It's something that I access through my technology. You would claim it is actually stored on your technology.
No, it's not,
because it's part of the interwebs. Anyway, so answer that question. In the meantime, think about this one. This will be the question we'll answer next week. Do you like spicy food? If so, why? I'm curious. And I guess as a secondary question, what's the spiciest thing you've eaten? Okay, so that'll be different for everybody, obviously. But some people don't like spicy. Like my wife does not like spicy food, and she'd probably be able to immediately recall the worst experience she ever had with heat. Other people love spicy food and would probably remember their favorite experience with heat. So what's the spiciest thing? There's a whole other question. What was your favorite spicy something?
Nope.
All right, we're not going to go there. So the question is, do you like spicy food, yes or no? If so, why? What do you like about it? And
spiciest experience.
And what's your spiciest experience? And that'll be next week's question. In the meantime, good to see you, boy.
You too.
See you guys next week. And
on my own spiciest experience.
Make it a great week.
Go visit mywieneryourmouth.com.
Trust him.
Bye, guys.
It's okay.